good morning to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes and my co-host, Ms. Rebecca Hicks. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Hope you're all set for a great show as usual. Get your coffee, warm it up, get your pencil and paper. You're going to want to take notes. And no, I did not die and go to heaven, as you'll see here in a minute. I am surrounded by beauty this morning. Not only intelligent, but incredibly beautiful women. So, wow. In any event, this morning, as we say on our show, we are about diversity. And it's diversity of ideas, not just ethnicity. And that's what makes this country strong, is the respect that we show for each other in our diversity. Once again, I'm Eddie Reyes, and thank you very much for joining us. This morning, we have as our guests the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. We have the Dallas chapter and the Fort Worth chapter. And they're going to arm you with some information about some of the great activities that they've been doing in the community, where they may need you. But it's important that you know what's going on in your surrounding with these dynamic ladies. And without much further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest this morning. And I'm going to start to my right, where we do have Annette Soto. She is president of the Fort Worth, or is it chairman?
The chair.
The chair. Chair of the Fort Worth chapter of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. So tell us a little bit about you. You're on the spot.
Okay. I am originally from San Antonio, Texas. I am the daughter of two Mexican immigrants who had the pleasure of being raised in a very cultural community in San Antonio. Very proud of my heritage. I attended Indiana University and then UT Austin, and really just developed a passion for community engagement and leadership and the public sector. So after that, I went to work for the federal government, which I currently do as well. I work for the Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Okay.
Started my career in Washington, D.C., and then had the opportunity to move to our Fort Worth, Texas office, and fell in love with the city immediately. So I've been there for 5 years, working in the community with the Hispanic Women's Network, and am now into my second year as chair of HWNT Fort Worth.
Congratulations. And your hair's not my color yet. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
So next we do have Ms. Mary Jo Hernandez. Is it Gartner?
Gartner, yes.
And she is president of the Dallas chapter of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. It's a pleasure to have you equally.
Thank you, Eddie. It's
so
my
please
pleasure.
tell our viewers a little bit about you. And ladies, don't be modest, don't be shy, because you guys have done tremendous work in the community. So
Thank
please
you.
tell our audience a little bit about you.
So my name is Mary Jo Hernandez Gartner. I am a professional dispute resolution specialist and business analytics professional. I was born in Cuba, immigrated here when I was 8 years old, lived in New Orleans, Louisiana, moved to Houston, and eventually made my way to Dallas, where I worked for many, many years, working in corporate America as an IT consultant. I am the mother of two wonderful sons and two beautiful stepdaughters, part of a modern family, so to speak. I'm a blended family, and it's just been such a privilege and a joy to work with the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. There are so many wonderful Latina women here in the state of Texas, professional women that want to make a difference in the community, and that's what was touching to me, to be able to work and be with other women that also want to be part of an organization that addresses personal and professional growth as well as making a difference in our community.
I got some great questions for you later on in the program about that. So
Absolutely.
great. Okay, I would be remiss if I do not allow my co-host to tell us a little bit about her. She's wonderful. Most of you know her as well, but for our new viewers, Rebecca, please tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely, Eddie. I'm excited today because, like I told you before, I think this is the best looking panel we've had so far.
Yeah.
These ladies are looking nice this morning. But I'm Rebecca Hicks, and I'm the owner of Hicks Law Group. We're a boutique law firm, and we specialize our practice primarily in the construction industry and also business law. So that's kind of what I'm up to, but I'm excited to hear from these ladies.
Okay. Ellen, you've been like a friend to me for 20 years, so it's good to see old friends again.
Thank you.
Let's say young friends.
Young friends. Getting
So-
younger.
Tell our viewers a little bit. I know a lot of good stuff about you, but please tell our viewers. Let them share in the goodies.
Well, I'm very blessed to be Chief Energizing Officer for individuals and organizations to unleash their potential and empower and energize people to be great. I've been have had my own company, my sole proprietorship, for over 25 years, and it's all been through reputation and through your reputation. So I think one of the things I really like about being Hispanic Women Network of Texas, I'm a long time member, is that you really have an opportunity to meet some great women, and in doing that, you can really garner the best practices of what makes for a great reputation. What can I do better? So it's a great organization. I have to laugh when Annette introduced about being proud of her culture and being from San Antonio. I had a different experience. I was born in the 1950s when Mexicans were deemed undesirable, and I had a father who was very embarrassed of being Mexican. So I've had to overcome, instead of being proud of my heritage, which I am proud of my heritage now, that the whole chip on my shoulder. I used to work for Exxon. I was a highest-rated female. I have an MBA from SMU. I have a graduate degree from Harvard, and through all that, I can say the more I am out there, the more I am proud of being a Latina, and the more that we can do for the society in general.
And you're an author.
I'm an author. My
Several
third book
times.
came out.
Yes. So
Thank
we'll
you.
talk about this a little bit farther on down the show.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, then we have Miss Diana Pittman. Diana?
Well, thank you, Eddie. My name is Diana Pittman, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, of course, because we are part of the Hispanic Women's Network. I was raised in Fort Worth, and I was lucky enough to attend some of the great universities around there, mainly Texas Wesleyan, and that's where I earned my MBA. I also am very active in Toastmasters, which is where I practice my leadership and communication, and I'm learning every day, so don't grade me just yet. And I have a brother and a sister, and I am considered the Latina in disguise, so don't think I don't know when you're talking about me, because I do listen. And I'm very happy to say that we're very active in this organization as well as in my family. My mother made it a mainstay to volunteer, from Meals on Wheels to whatever organization needed help. So we gave, and then I realized you could get paid for it, but I never got to that point. So I'm still volunteering, but I actively love the volunteering part. And of course, each of our ladies know that we're all over the state of Texas, and Fort Worth has outreach to Dallas as well as many of the other cities, and we're making sure that we build this camaraderie and sisterhood and build it strong, because we are one of the most noteworthy Hispanic organizations in Fort Worth, and I like to be considered part of that.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, okay. So I'm going to start with the history of this organization, and who wants to volunteer to talk about the history, how it got started, why did it get started, why was there a need for the Hispanic Women's of Texas Network? Who is the best archivist around here?
I'd be more than happy to take that.
Okay.
Just briefly, in 1986, 6 women came together to discuss issues that were going on with them professionally, very established women, but still noticing that they were not reaching their full potential because there wasn't that support system already established for them. So they decided to get together, a group of 200 women. They got together in 1987 here in Dallas, Texas, and discuss the issues that were facing the Hispanic Latina community. They decided what was needed was a strong network where we ourselves as women could support each other, that we could promote each other, and just kind of work towards the advancement of women, and that's kind of what the foundation of our mission statement to this day is. Since then, our organization has grown. We have chapters in every one of the largest cities in Texas. We have women who are still members, still very active members, who were there on the very first day.
Wow.
And I think that that's something very unique to our organization. You will see on our board alone, we have 2 daughters of previous members, so it's now a generational thing. It's a family thing. You grow up in HWNT, your daughters become active in HWNT. It's something that's really just hit home and a core need. It provides outlets for education and development, but mainly just sisterhood and supporting each other and supporting the community, and realizing that if we stick together, if we unite, and if we just work together, that we will continue to promote together as well.
You know, I saw that as 10 years with the University of North Texas as the historically underutilized business director of that program. My job, like I mentioned earlier, was to go out and recruit women and minority business owners and help them navigate the procurement process. How do I sell my widget to UNT? But I was always amazed and impressed at, and I know you see it, Rebecca, because you do a lot of work in the construction industry, but the success that women had in the construction field, where it was, you know, such a man industry, man field, and to have women not only go in there, but they quickly rose to the top. I was just always impressed by, you know, persistence. But you ladies really have the knack for, you know, looking at something, tackling it, and resolving the issues to get there. And I love that about that. So, okay, what is the difference between the two chapters? Or is there any difference?
I can talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
The Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, our mission is to promote the advancement of women, not just Hispanic women, but women in general. It just happens that we're also promoting the advancement of Hispanic women. Our two chapters are a little bit flexible, you know, in terms of the programs that they elect to participate in. And so statewide, basically what we see is that each chapter does whatever works best for them and whatever the needs are in the community.
That's
so,
good.
You know, with the Dallas chapter, we're a little bit different from Fort Worth because our membership is oriented more towards, you know, what's going on in Dallas, and that is there's a lot of professional development going on. So this year we introduced a professional seminar series for emerging professionals called Stand Up, where we really help young professionals, emerging professionals, understand the benefits of developing skills that are going to help them advance in their careers. But we also have a Be Inspired series where we encourage women to understand more about the community that they live in. And I think each chapter, for example, the Houston chapter has a completely different agenda. I'll let you, Annette, talk about the Fort Worth chapter. But every chapter is just slightly different, but our mission overall is to promote the advancement of Hispanic women.
And what I think is so fabulous is that I recently did a stand-up event for the Dallas chapter, and some people from Fort Worth came to it. So what I like is that you're welcome regardless of the chapter you're in. So if you're in from Houston, you can come to one of our chapter meetings. If you're in El Paso, you can go to one of the chapter meetings. So I love that you can just have just a wealth of programs that you can attend.
Exactly.
How would one become a member?
Attending, we welcome anyone who's not even a member to come to our events because we definitely want to make sure that people feel like it's a great fit. It's only $50 to join, and we think that it's just the best $50 you'll ever get because we have monthly events and sometimes more than once a month. You get the opportunity to not only have a whole network of women in Fort Worth, we're about 185 strong, and all of these women, if you need some sort of advice or if you need some sort of outreach in a specific sector, there's probably somebody in our chapter that we can point you in the direction to. So yeah, just through our membership chair, we want to make sure that we make it personal. So we usually will outreach, and you'll meet a member before you become a member, and we love to tell you all about why you should join.
So now is membership limited to Hispanic women, or tell me about that.
Membership is not limited to women or Hispanic women. We actually have men that are part of our chapter. We have non-Hispanic women that are part of our chapter. The easiest way to become a member is to look at hwnt.org, and you will see all of our chapters listed. And from there, you can select Fort Worth or Dallas. You can see what upcoming events we have, right? So once you see the upcoming events, you just sign up for the event, and I will know from the Dallas chapter, like Annette will know from the Fort Worth chapter, who our members are and who is our guest. And we always welcome guests, and we'll make sure that when we have somebody new attending our events, that they get to know us a little bit. And we spend some time with all of our guests. And as Annette mentioned, those are going to be the best $50 you've ever spent. And it all doesn't go to HWNT. It actually goes to what we do in the community. We give out scholarships. We help women in need. We support so many other programs. And so the $50 is you know,
Sure.
just
Right.
a little slight donation, so to speak.
You are watching Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes, and our guest speaker today are the chapters, the Hispanic Women Network of Texas, the Fort Worth chapter, and the Dallas chapter. We'll be right back after this message. Go warm up your coffee.
The pleasure of being the superintendent of the greatest school district in the state of Texas. Students can choose to audition for the Fine Arts Academy, where they can participate in 7 different strands of the fine arts in a very rigorous academic environment. Students can choose to apply for DeBisky Career High School, where they can participate and learn in any one of 5 schools within a school to become work ready and college ready. These are just a few of the opportunities that our students and our parents will find in Grand Prairie ISD. Anyone can check out everything we have to offer at www.gpisd.org.
And we're back. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So glad to join us. Isn't the weather great? I know. And for those that have a great patio and have that TV on and watching us, have your laptop on, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, our guest speakers are the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, the Dallas chapter and Fort Worth chapter, along with my co-host, Ms. Rebecca Hicks. So I wanted to know, you mentioned something about we welcome any friendly face. I don't have a friendly face. Can I still join?
Absolutely.
Okay, I did have a question because I was looking at on your mission statement, and I noticed it's different from Dallas and Fort Worth because in Fort Worth you really mentioned men can join, and the Dallas one didn't. So I thought, well, shoot, I guess if I'm going to join, I have to join the Fort Worth chapter, right?
I'm going to go change out.
No, we have a lot of members in both chapters, so I think that's probably the best. North Texas.
We do have a lot of members that hold dual memberships, and that's a great thing about being in one of the Metroplex chapters, that you get to support each other and get just a plethora of different events you can attend as well.
So do I have to join both chapters, or can I join one to attend the other one's events?
You only have to join one to attend the events, but some choose to actually, have dual memberships, just for their own.
So I know that you said that you select and try to empower the young emerging leaders. How are they selected? Who determines that? Is there a committee? Do you do that annually? I mean, what are the expectations of that person that you select as an emerging leader? What are the expectations from that person? So first of all, where do y'all find them? Who selects them? What is an emerging leader?
Well, okay, I'll answer that because I was just presented at it. I think people self-select. There are people who have that, and I would say it's people who have a burning desire to just grow, to be their best. And so that's what I like about this organization. It's not like, well, we selected you, and it's all about you get to reach your potential. You get to get as involved as you want, or not as involved. And so I love the process that it's not one of those where all of a sudden you're crowned, you're an emerging leader, because I think in our chapters we believe everyone's an emerging leader, and that's why they join.
Good point.
Exactly.
Very inclusive.
Yeah, we also have a very inclusive mentality, and our philosophy is to invite people to participate. And sometimes at our stand-up events where Ellen has kindly graciously spoken on our behalf and gone through elements of her book Spirited Leadership, we sometimes have people that attend the meetings that are not members of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, and we invite people to do that too. But always our goal is to continue to increase our membership, because the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas, as we say in the name, it is a network of women. And as a statewide organization, there's a network that goes beyond just Dallas and Fort Worth. It's really a statewide organization. We have a state conference every year where we have hundreds of women that attend. And it's just a wonderful feeling to see women from all over the state come together. And in those meetings, we have a lot of just wonderful speakers on many, many, many subjects, not just, personal, professional growth. We also have invitations to learn more about our political system, our socioeconomic system. So, this is for women that want to know what's going on in the state of Texas.
And be connected.
Exactly.
I have a saying there, your network is your net worth. And that's a fact.
That's a good one.
That's a fact for sure.
I think it's also important to note that there's also another group of emerging leaders, which would be our high school girls. We're very, as a statewide organization, we're very dedicated to our Latinas in Progress high school education series and mentorship program. And each chapter does it in a different way, but we have a mentorship program for our high school girls that are Latinas. And in Tarrant County, we have currently 80 that are about to graduate.
Wow.
So we're really excited about that. And it's 80 a year. We start every September and we end every March. It goes with their school year. They're all seniors in Tarrant County. For the Fort Worth chapter. So we take them literally through their entire high school year where they're starting the application process. They meet once a month on Saturdays to discuss different things about the college admissions process, from the application to writing skills to help them with their essays, to how to choose the right one, financial aid, life skills, and then the assertive Latina module, which is really important because culturally, Latinas, that's something that we've struggled with, even in the familial unit, how to be assertive and kind of take care of yourself. So that's something we're really proud of. We have a scholarship program that we award every March as well. The Fort Worth chapter is really happy that they've awarded $1.4 million over the last 7 years.
Wow.
With different university sponsors, and also for our members, just donating scholarships in the names of different family members as well. So I think that's the next generation of leaders, and it's so inspiring. I think a lot of times we tell our students that as much as they gain from us, we gain even more from them, because we leave those Saturday mornings feeling really energized, really motivated, and really positive about what the future leaders are going to do.
So if we've got a parent or a high school student that would like to be involved in that program, how would they do that?
You can follow us either on Facebook. We both have Facebook pages that are very active. You can look for all of our chapters, or you can go to hwnt.org and contact one of our chapters, which a lot of people do. All of our contact information is there. We'll send you all the information to get your daughter involved, and hopefully get you involved as well, because those mothers are usually the best allies. We have a lot of mothers that become members, and then they become mentors themselves.
And now it can be a student at any high school in Fort Worth, or how does that work?
Tarrant County, absolutely. And I believe if you're Dallas County,
That's
they
right.
would go to the Dallas County chapter as well. We do outreach. We go all the way to Arlington, I believe. We have a few students in Arlington.
And it's very practical what you teach them, because I remember I got to speak at one, and it's so exciting to see their little faces
Yes.
so happy and say, there is no Prince Juan or Jose, you can make it on your own. I remember when they just had table etiquette, because if they go on college interviews, what fork will they use, what spoon, how to use, it's practical, it's energizing, it's a kind environment, and it teaches them everything that you really don't learn at school.
And it teaches them to be leaders, because then they can share that information. So now they're practicing their networking skills, they're building their leadership skills, and when they network, this is forever. We even had an event where we showed them with the yarn, the string. You hold one piece of the yarn, I'm going to touch you, now guess what, we have now networked. Now you go touch somebody else, and then this web of yarn. And then with that web, we took pictures and showed these people, this is your first day meeting these girls. In the next 5 modules, these girls are going to be some of your best friends. And so from there, they make their business cards. They have their own face group, alumni
They
group.
have business cards.
Exactly. How else are you going to network and be remembered and be professional? They're going for internships, and this is the level that people look at their maturity. And you can be a kid. We're all kids. We're all kids at heart, especially. And to connect with these young ladies and know you're going to know them for the rest of your life, that's amazing. Because this is their first year of college. They're going to be entering. They still have 3 more years to be successful.
Sure.
You don't break that bond. If they need scholarship money, they need a letter written for a recommendation, or they just need someone to say, oh my goodness, I'm not doing well. Guess what? In your eyes, you may not be doing well. But at school, all you have to do is focus. Look at what you're going to do on campus and smile. That is the best thing you can do to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, I'm sorry, you were going
Now,
to follow
I
up.
was going to say, in the Dallas chapter, we have had members come back to HWNT because they did participate in Latinas in Progress. And again, the name of the program is Latinas in Progress, and it's aimed at high school students age, from 9th grade to 12th grade. And then when they go off to college, we continue to stay in communication with them. We are now going back to UNT, for example, and meeting again with some of the girls that have scholarships at UNT. But what we'll see quite often is after the students graduate from college, they come back to the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. And it's funny because this is where we actually do have a lot of friendly competition between the two chapters. We both have our own programs. Fort Worth is a little bit different from Dallas. We take the students to different universities, and we began with a college with a career exploration process where we bring members from our organization that have different professions, and we let the students speak to them. If you're thinking about becoming an attorney, for example, you need to speak to an attorney, or an accountant or a computer science or an engineer. And, the students come away inspired by that.
Energized.
Exactly. And then, throughout the series, we're going over so many different modules that they start to see, that all of these things are achievable, right? As long as you plan for it now.
Are you listening, kids? You better be listening.
They're all achievable, right? And we're here to make it happen.
That's right. Strong leaders right here, great role models. You are watching Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes. We're going to cut away for a minute or two. We'll be right back, so warm up your coffee. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So hang in there. Take notes.
I always listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com.
Listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com.
Texas Small Business Development Center. I always watch Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com.
Director of the North Texas Small Business Development Center, and I always watch Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com.
Hello, my name is Dr. Diane Sanchez, founder and president of DAS HR Consulting, and I always listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com. So please join us for this fabulous show every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Welcome back. You are watching Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes. That was quick, huh, ladies? Yep. Just go right in there. That's right. See, I'm trying to learn here. I did good? Yeah.
You're doing good. Great job.
Okay, so one of the questions, and I meant to mention this too, Diana, earlier, that you talk about being in training, being a Latina. When I was chairman of the Great Grand Prairie Hispanic Chamber, we had Anglos join, and so we nicknamed them our LIT, L-I-T, Latino in Training.
Well, I hope you graduated.
Well, you just got to drink a margarita. Hey, you know, that's a Rosetta Stone anyway. After 2 or 3, you can speak any language. So that's the good thing about that. So we were going to talk about your strategy, and y'all have annual meetings and I guess develop strategy to address some of the challenges that we find, not only as Latinas, but as Hispanics or the underserved community. So talk about that, please.
Definitely, Eddie. Well, we are entirely the state of Texas, and people outside of the state of Texas want members, but we're telling them, come to the border, we'll talk about it. I know we had a Kansas City application, and I'm not sure Hispanic Women's Network of Texas and Kansas City will work yet, maybe later. But we do have a conference. It is statewide. It's not only open to our members, it's open to the public, and vendors and sponsors are always welcome. We have named sponsors every year, but we're always open to Dallas sites to bring in their money. Fort Worth's always invited, and of course, all of the chapters will be there. We had the largest showing of members at this last chapter, or actually conference, and it was in Corpus Christi. Yes, we attended all the events. Nobody was laying on the beach skipping.
Sure.
We did that. We did.
Better yet, just have it on the beach.
Well, that was in October, and every October we have our conference. So this October we were going to be in the beautiful Alamo City, and it's San Antonio. No excuses, we all have to attend, and the dates, I'm going to have to cheat and look.
It's all right.
October 23rd to the 27th, and of course that's 2014. We invite people to attend early. I know that everything is always said, it's out on the web. Well, we're going to have you visit our website to see more information, but we would love for you to attend. And if we could have the largest showing by chapter, okay, this is our competitiveness.
Okay, that's a challenge.
We won last time, so last year, but we'll give you a heads up. We might even carpool. We're friendly.
I think I see the gauntlet being thrown here.
The Megabus, we're allowed to do that. But if you can show up and even just attend one event.
You're watching this live.
There were lots of attorneys, so I know that you'll be interested in that. We met lots of people that were political figures from Washington, D.C. on down to the local municipalities, and governor, actually mayors. Okay, governor, I threw that out there just to tease you. You're listening. But we had some past mayors and current mayors, especially Corpus Christi's mayor attended, and it was really exciting because not only did we meet people from the other chapters, but we actually have made some ties where we visit. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but we actually have a student chapter. UT Austin is, of course, the greatest university in Texas.
Of course.
Other than Texas Wesleyan, but they had their first.
I recognize a little Baylor in there.
Okay, Bear Claw.
You better hope Valerie's not watching. UNT.
That's right, UNT, that's right. Everyone's represented well. And actually we had some LIP students, those are Latinas in Progress students, attend. We also are asking for scholarships for them to attend because this is going to be during the school year. Sure, they can skip one day, Friday, but it's Friday, Saturday, and then early morning Sunday. We say goodbye to everyone, and it's a sad day to leave. But in San Antonio, I'm sure we'll stay a little longer because
of course,
we
it's
can get
San
home
Antonio.
quickly.
That's right.
So that's the conference every year, so hopefully
So
you'll
what
attend.
happens at the conference? Are we talking educational sessions,
Exactly.
events? What's going on?
Multiple tracks and multiple concurrent sessions. So if you don't see something interesting in one level, it could be educational, it could be business, professional level, and then we have a LIP session or a LIP track as well. So the students, they have the opportunity to attend anything they want, but if they feel that they need the basics, they can attend the student level one. But we have many professionals from, I guess I could actually mention some trainers. We had someone that was a motivational speaker that I went in and introduced the speaker and sat in, and I was so amazed and walked out thinking, I would have never known this is what came from one of our own members that volunteered to present, and now I feel like this person needs to be known everywhere. They need to be earning this respect and having this exposure, and maybe that's something the network can help her with. But every time we learn a little something, we share it. So I know that when we left there, that's the whole conversation. There was social media talking about exactly what we just learned. We were twittering, and everything that could ever happen, we did when we talked about it. We even had the Houston chapter drove in with a new car from, I forgot where she won it from, but one of the automakers let them have a car to come in, drive in, so they tweeted about that, and then they drove it back. It was a borrowed car that he gets to keep it. But, we always build up, so maybe next year we just keep it.
So,
maybe it's like Oprah Winfrey and all attendees get a new car
yeah.
at some point,
right?
There is.
Yeah, I think the socializing too is what really helps.
Oh,
a lot of people
of course.
get roommates, of people they didn't even know, to make the conference more affordable if you need to for the hotel. And just the socializing, the network, and you know how we are. We have fun.
Sure.
I bought a ring there, and I still wear it to this day. I love it. We have vendors that come in. We had jewelry vendors, and from the banks to other training sessions and other parts of, I want to say not just Texas, came in and represented so that you could do anything that you wanted.
So let me ask you, since students, of course, are encouraged to participate in this event, now what about transportation issues for those students that don't have cars or have a way to get down there? Do y'all address that in any way, form, or fashion?
Yes, we do. What we have done in the past is we'll have a group of members transport the students in their car. Now, San Antonio is 3.5 hours from Dallas, so what we'll probably do is, have a few volunteers drive some students down. We also put some money aside in our budget to make sure that all the expenses are covered for the students. So we make this available for a handful of students. As part of our mentorship program, we allow the students to sign up for the mentorship, and they will go, they're called hermanitas, and they will go with their madrinas to the conference. And the madrina usually covers a lot of those expenses.
One of the things, because y'all are really focused on education, which I salute you, because that's the key. That's where you form your ideas and what you want to do, and of course with great role models like you ladies, and it's great, and just being there for them. But when I was chairman of the Grand Prairie Hispanic Chamber, and while I was working at University of North Texas, I met with Dr. Gilda Garcia, who's diversity and equity, and she said, Eddie, we're not having enough Latino kids apply for scholarships. What's the problem? So I went back and studied it, and met with the superintendent of Grand Prairie ISD, and what the issue is, which I was not aware because I never went to college, but there's this FAFSA that has to be completed, and it's very, very challenging, very, very tough. And so one of our board members owns a Liberty Tax Service, and a very successful entrepreneur. She actually owns 3. And so what she volunteered, we met with superintendent, and she would welcome any parent that came in and did the taxes with her. She would complete the FAFSA form for them because it's based on household income.
Yep, that's right. We engage the students too. We have one session at LIP, and this one happens to be at UTA, where we bring in the admissions.
And that's Latina in Progress?
Exactly, Latinas in Progress. And they have the session where we have Spanish speaking, so it's bilingual, as well as English. We split the room, it's a stadium room. And from there, they have any questions, they're answered. And then there can be a one-on-one because we have a lot of volunteers. Not everyone will take advantage of the one-on-one because it's computer-based, and most of the students have the computer literacy to finish. But it's getting that one piece of paper from the Theo or Padre that has, what is that number, that magic number to enter? And that's what takes the longest. So if people are unaware that there are deadlines, which we inform our girls, continually inform our girls, and then the madrinas call them and say, have you met your deadline? Now, we don't babysit them because they have got to learn to do this on their own. But there's enough encouragement and enough of repetitiveness and a calendar out there that they will meet these deadlines, because not only are they earning scholarships or applying for scholarships from us, but it's those outside scholarships that make it fulfilling. We've got to supplement them from the chambers, from the individuals, the campus-based. And so I think the FAFSA is being addressed. There's always room for improvement, and I think that if anybody has an alternate method to help one-on-one, they should take advantage of it, because we don't do it just for ourselves, right? We do it with somebody else, so there's two taken care of.
And sometimes that's also cultural issue because of how we look at that. And, we tend to be more submissive, more, and so it takes a lot of encouragement, a lot of patting them back, a lot of role model. I mean, because it is tough to get those kids out of that shell, and even more compound the problem by the culture in itself. So that's very critical.
At that session, we actually require a parent attend as well. It's the very first session. So that way they can ask any questions as well. Because we know sometimes the parents, like you said, are shy and don't know necessarily the answer of why they need to report the information they need to report, what their information is going to be used for. So we have a whole team of people that are ready to answer their questions in any language they need, and be readily available as well. I know that for me, as a first-generation college student, it wasn't that my parents didn't want to help, just they didn't know where to start.
Exactly.
And so I think that that's where a lot of our students are as well to this day. So we just try to make it as an easy of a conversation, as comfortable as a conversation, and just give them all the information that we have.
Including the DREAM Act information.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everything.
So Ellen, it seems like, okay, let's talk about some of the good work that you're doing, as well as we address an educational issue, but what about politics? Because that's certainly, granted, politics is all local.
Right.
Right?
I'm the last person to talk about politics.
Well, I'm just
only because my whole profession is around creating harmony. And as soon as you talk about politics, I hear conflict and disharmony.
I thought it was harmony.
No, I told you it was harmony. I can tell you all about empowering yourself. I can talk to you all about being a leader, but when it comes to politics,
so politicians need that, Okay, so how do we address that? I mean, because there are certainly disparities within the state here, and the perception is, and in many cases, reality is that women are not being allowed to do some things that equally that automatically go to men. So do you all address that, and if so, how?
Absolutely. We, as a 501c3 organization, are not allowed to take a certain stance and promote different candidates, but we definitely do try to encourage people to get more civically involved. From our Latinas in Progress program, there's a whole session on Latinas that are serving and Latinas in civicism, but then also for our members. When the mayoral race in Fort Worth was going, we had a panel discussion for the HWNT Fort Worth members with all of the candidates for the Fort Worth City Mayor. So we try to just give as much information and talk about engagement, talk about how to get involved. We had just last year a whole panel on commissions and boards that was presented by the Fort Worth City Secretary and a City Council member, Sal Espino, as well, supporting. So they presented and it was a room full of members, females, males. It was not just our membership. How to get involved on a city board, how to get appointed, what's the application process, and they were getting the information straight from the city secretary, who's the one who takes care of that. So we try to put those opportunities out there and explain the importance of being represented in different ways. You don't have to be an elected official. I know that can be intimidating, but there's different ways to make an impact in your community through different organizations. So we really stress that and try to stay out of the politics.
Right.
We say good luck to everyone. We want every Latino that's running for you're right, Latina especially, that's running for some office. Kudos to them, and we are 100% wishing them all the luck in the world. But as an organization, we can't can't endorse.
I'm a chamber member.
We are definitely behind everyone that's willing to take that sacrifice on.
You are watching Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes and our fabulous panel here this morning. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Time to freshen up that coffee, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. My name is Mary Jo Hernandez Gartner. I am the Dallas chair of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. Guess what? I always listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com. You don't want to miss it.
Hi, my name is Annette Soto, and I'm the chair of the Fort Worth chapter of the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. And I always listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes on InTheMixLive.com.
Hi, I'm Ellen Castor, Chief Energizing Officer and author of Spirited Leadership for Today's Will Trust. You must watch Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes. He is a spirited leader and his crew is amazing. Every Saturday morning at InTheMixLive.com.
Hi, my name is Diana Pittman, and I'm the Vice Chair of Membership for the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. And when I'm in town, I always listen to Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on InTheMixLive.com. And actually, it's internet, so I listen all over the world.
Action with Eddie Reyes. Thank you so much. Got to be quick.
Learning.
Yeah, so, hey, you know, like I tell our audience, we're not trying to be the professionals that John McKay and Gloria Campos are. We are you. And our job is just simply to bring you vital information as we're learning today. We do have, our motto is the exciting sound of your money growing, because we do address all the challenges that small business, minority business, women business, and veteran business owners face. So in that, this is all part of that, because if you listen to the good things that they're doing and their network, that is the exciting sound of your money growing, because eventually it is about all networking and helping each other. So of course this falls into that pattern of this is the exciting sound of your money growing. Just listen to these ladies. I'm so energized and encouraged. So once again, Rebecca, great group, huh?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that, you know, we've talked a lot today about young people and your mentorship programs, but you know, I think a lot of our viewers are business owners, yes, business people, professionals. So let's talk about what's in it for them with your organization. How do they benefit? And I think you all mentioned that you have periodic meetings per chapter. Can somebody comment on that?
Yes, I can. Each chapter has membership meetings. The membership meetings are not just for members, they're for guests as well. We have our meetings the third Tuesday of every month from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Usually we'll have a speaker or a panel of speakers. And this kind of goes back a little bit to what we were just talking about, you know, political stance and things like that. We believe that, and I know it sounds cliche, but information is power. Mm-hmm. And so what we try to do is to continue to educate our members about what is going on in the community, you know, who's running for office. In our meeting coming up Tuesday on February 18th, the meeting is called Hispanic Women Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, where we will have representatives from the Concilio and from LULAC. And we will also have one of our own members who is a community philanthropist, so to speak. She's a doctor, and she participates in the Dallas Women's Foundation, the SMU Symposium. She's all over town. And so we give our members an opportunity to hear from them in a panel-type environment. And then the following meeting...
Where is that meeting going to be held?
That is going to be held at Blue Mesa in Addison, again from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, February the 18th. Most of our meetings are scheduled at Blue Mesa, again the third Tuesday of every month. The following month we'll be focusing on voter registration and the benefits of voting. Women in Texas don't vote. We want them to have a voice in what's going on in Texas. So we're going to be talking about that. So we're not politically, you know, oriented, but we try to give information out to our members that they can walk away with and say, yeah, this makes sense to me.
And I have to say that I'm not the only person with gray hair that attends these meetings. I think there's a lot for, regardless of the age group that you are in, is that there's just such an energy, and there's always such an exchange between, should be the younger and the older, and these are just, the way I look at it, we're all leaders in the community, because you're even showing up to this meeting. And so I would say that I see, like at the stand-up event I just had, there are as many people in their 50s and over as there were in their 20s and 30s. So it's very exciting, because I think the secret, if I was going to say, is, do you want to grow?
Right.
Yes. Do you want to be empowered?
I know you mentioned the stand-up event. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
I will... Mary Jo could, but since I was actually doing, it's really for their emerging leaders, as they call it. And what we're there to do is to help give them that additional edge, the professional presence, the social skills, the confidence. I think it's the confidence buildings of our leaders to say, number one, interesting statistic, Eddie, you'll love the statistic, but there was a statistic that men will apply for a job if they think they're like 90% qualified, whereas women only apply for a job. I mean, no, men, if they have 60% of the job requests, go, oh yeah, I'll go for it. Whereas women, they have to be like 95% before they even apply. And the whole point of stand-up is to go, no, apply. Apply. And so that's what stand-up's all about.
Is that a monthly program as well? Or
it's quarterly. It is a quarterly program, and it's awesome. It's
so,
awesome.
what about Fort Worth now? When are your meetings?
We have our meetings on the second Thursday of the month from 6 to 8 p.m. And we just had our meeting last week. We look at our calendar when we set it at the beginning of, or at the end of the previous year, and try to come up with a whole just broad spectrum of programming that we hit everything. So our first one in February was Attire to Inspire. So we paired up with Ladder Alliance, which is a nonprofit organization that helps empower victims of domestic violence through educational programs. So it could be just simple things like Word and Excel. And what they do with the clothing drive is that they have a success store, which really looks like a store inside of their complex. And the students can then earn success dollars for attendance, for good attendance, for
That's a great idea.
For punctuality, and for volunteerism. So if they volunteer in the community, they also earn success dollars. And with their success dollars, they go to the success store and they buy professional clothing. So we had a lot of members bring their gently used professional clothing to donate to the store. They were very excited that their clothing would go to such a great cause. We learned about the organization and took a tour of what's going on. It's something that's local, and it's women giving to other women, which a lot of people were inspired by.
With respect. That's the whole thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, we've all been through tough times, and a friend of mine suffered from leukemia, and he was out, had needed a bone transplant, was out for a whole year. And he was probably 280, so when he came out, he was down to maybe 120 pounds. And he said, I had to buy new clothes, and I couldn't afford it.
Yes.
So it was the churches that were donating clothing to him. Because you don't ever think of, I didn't, until, it's always personal, right? It's somebody that you know that went through that. Let me quickly say this, too, for y'all to be aware, and perhaps you already know this, but when I was, again, working with with Grand Prairie, I'm still the immediate past president, but we really wanted to work with the kids, and we really wanted to get them to vote. So I learned that in the state education code there is a law that says that any child with 17 years plus 10 months, that it is his principal's responsibility to give them a registration. And so that's something that I took to the superintendent of Grand Prairie, and they implemented that. Most of them not even aware that law exists. Wow. But you talk about getting your youth involved, especially in voting. I mean, that's something that as you reach out to your high schools, if they are aware of that, and if they are, they're doing it. Exactly. So anyone that's 17 months plus 10 months, that principal's supposed to give them that. And that's a law.
The does that. I know that they have partnerships with other organizations to come in and help them fill them out, because you do have to have an endorsement to have other people fill out a card that you hand them.
Right.
So I know it's being done in Fort Worth, but you're going to miss people. Children are absent. Children don't turn it in. So hopefully if they hear this, they'll go ahead and ask their parent, well, I'm a month away from that birthday. I'm going to vote, and this will be the first time I get to vote. So hopefully we'll have more on the roll, and then they'll be contacted, and then hopefully they'll
It should be exciting to be able to vote. It should be something, just like their 18th birthday for different reasons, It should be celebrated, absolutely.
I the sticker.
I
voted.
I will tell you that, as I told you about my family situation, we adopted 4 girls. That was probably one of the most exciting days we ever had. The first time they went, they just couldn't wait. You're making your own decision. Don't tell me who you vote for. Read the newspaper and watch TV, but also keep it real. Understand that not everything that you see is, but they were just so genuinely excited, and I was extremely proud, very proud to see them walk into that voting booth and do that on their own. That is really a fabulous moment. It really is. We are coming to a close. We're getting there already. So, Ellen, I do want to take 60 seconds and talk about your book.
Thank you.
So go, girl.
All I can can tell you is that these 52 ways, it's called Spirited Leadership, and it's the 3rd edition of this book, and it is absolutely how to harness your personal power, because it's all about you. We can sit here and offer all the programs in the world, but if you don't take accountability for your life, what happens? So these are absolutely 52 behaviors, and you do 1 a week, and it will change your life. My issues had issues. I mean, I was tortured. And because I believe in modeling what you preach, by having done this, truly my life is just, I should be a statistic for every practical purpose, but I'm not, and here I am able to help other people be empowered. And I will offer you the challenge that I'm telling people, if they buy the book, 1 year from now, that I will have coffee with them if they live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and say, tell me, how has your life changed?
Oh,
Wow.
that's a great commitment.
Good word.
I'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the good
Where
word.
can folks find your book?
It's at the Barnes & Noble at Preston Royal. We'll be having a book signing on March the 28th. And it's also on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and at the website www.daretobegreater, because that's my whole mission. How can we release our greatness?
You're in Texas. You're supposed to say www.
Let me tell you this. My parents didn't want me to speak with a Mexican accent or Spanish. They sure wouldn't want me to speak with that accent.
Como está you stud and buenos snowshoes, right?
There you go.
Okay,
So
we have
thank
just a
you.
few seconds. Let's go around the table. Any last remarks?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us here. We're really excited. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about our organization, and we hope that if anybody is feeling the excitement and the passion as well, that you look into us at hwnt.org. Find a chapter near you. We're not just in Dallas-Fort Worth. We're everywhere. And please join us and learn more about what we do, and hopefully we would love to have your energy and excitement as well.
Okay.
Great.
Yes.
So if you're interested in joining an organization that is statewide, but also oriented to what you do, I joined when I was part of the diversity panel at Dell Computing Company and Perot Systems. And that was important to me to extend beyond my current work environment to be more involved in the community. And so if you're part of, a diversity group in a corporation, this is just such a wonderful opportunity to get out there and network and meet other professional women like yourself. So it's been special that
And
way.
I would say we might have intimidated you with our energy and our I want you to know that our meetings are very kind. They're very friendly. If you're shy, we'll be the first ones to come up to you and not overwhelm you. So everyone is invited, and we want to see you there, because truly, of all the organizations I belong to, it is the one I find it a privilege and an honor to be part of it.
Diana?
And it is a professional organization, but if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So we're doing it perfectly correctly. So consider this your personal invitation to come and join us. I know that if you visit us, you're going to want to join. And who wouldn't want to be great friends with each of these individual ladies? And this is just a few of the individual ladies. We're 200 strong in Fort Worth. I know every chapter is growing. And I want to take this personal opportunity to present, with teamwork, pass down a thank you from the chapters from Fort Worth and Dallas for having your dedication and outreach from Diversity in Action, and for having us as part of your team for today. Yeah, I think it's your beautiful team. Is that what I heard, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Beautiful team. We do like adjectives. And anytime you need a speaker, we have speakers in our organization that come out, and we all have our specialties. We're all approachable, and each of us wants to give back. And I know that there's women out there just like us that would like to join us. So hopefully you'll invite us back. We all have specialties we'd like to share. And I'm buying a book, so hopefully I'll see
Yes.
you.
We should all buy a book.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Rebecca, any last remarks?
Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. I think I've
Thank
learned
you.
a lot, and hopefully I can come out to some of your events.
Absolutely. We'd love to
Always
have you.
invited.
We'd like to thank our audience today. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I'm blessed. Look at me. Every gray head ran out there just jealous as all get out. So be jealous. I'm surrounded by intelligence and just happen to be beautiful. So next week we have Miss Crystal Hahn. She's a Latina, but she works for Merrill Lynch. And we're going to have her here talk about retirement and investments and strategies, especially for the Latino community that we're so far behind in terms of building a retirement. So please join us then. We all get to learn. Thank you so much for watching. Again, it's Diversity in Action with Eddie Reyes. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.